What's up, Go enthusiasts? Welcome to the Nongshim Cup, the most important team tournament of the year. In the first two games, Kudja has crushed his opponents. Well, the first game was really quite close and dramatic, but in game 2 he crushed his opponent. And here in game 3 he plays against Kim Young-hoon, and oh boy, he just can't stay away from the drama, can he, this Kudja guy. This game ended crazily. So many people had opinions about it. Let's take a look. Kim Young-hoon plays black, Kudja plays white. He played this interesting side move. There's nothing wrong with this side move, but we used to play these a lot more often. AI seems to think we should play them less often, but particularly against the one space high, the side becomes quite important, so he can go ahead and take the side if he wants. And Kudja is just going to 3-3, take some territory, and Kim Young-hoon can take the corner enclosure. I think black was probably pretty happy with this opening. He probably felt like he should be pretty comfortable. Having quite a bit of potential territory in the bottom right part of the board. Kudja didn't particularly mind either. I think he was happy to get this the Tarian Descent. It's so popular, and is so popular for such a good reason. This 5-stone like black group, it's really awkward to figure out like where is it going? What is it doing? It's not really going to take territory. It's not really going to attack anything. So the proper way to use that is to play away. We shouldn't really handle it at all. Kim Young-hoon continues to play on the bottom side, and Kudja plays this jump, which I'd actually never seen before. The standard move is to play the descend here, and then to Hane, and you can play from here however you like. I think that Kudja probably thought, if he plays like this, then the black shape on the bottom side can be quite expansive and quite annoying. I don't know exactly how it would go. Maybe it would be something like this, but it's possible that the white area becomes pretty hard to directly secure and the black area becomes secure, and then the game could be awkward. So instead, just reduce once. Black chooses not to even come in, so it definitely makes sense if the variation is going to go like this, that Kudja is basically just getting a good exchange before coming back to descend. Black could have chosen to play this Hane, but then if he comes back here later, then that Hane can be a bad exchange if, for example, this cut happens and white manages to cut these 2 stones. This wouldn't happen right away, but in the case where it does happen, and it could, then that 3-3 stone is really going to secure white against any invasions or reductions on the left side. So it can make a lot of sense to avoid exchanging that for black. And then from white's perspective, maybe it's just valuable enough now to go after, and black can go ahead and play away. And now black is saying, this exchange, white is viewing it as a good exchange because black can't build the bottom side, but black is viewing it as a good exchange for black because black doesn't have to worry about his 2 stones getting attacked. If white had immediately gone here and black would then play away, then white would not press but invade and really try to capture these 2 stones. So both sides have their pros and cons here. It's quite an interesting variation. I'm kind of curious to try it myself. Try playing something like that myself. But in the game, they just play away for now, and black is going to invade the left side. I say invade, it's more like split and establish a position there. Kudja likes to take the territory in the bottom left, and Kim Young-hoon ideally prefers to put pressure on these 3 stones. Those stones are always so hard to save. Me personally, I don't think I've ever saved them and gained correctly and actually put pressure on black in this kind of position. It's so hard to really show that they're as powerful as they're supposed to be. In the game, Kudja played the Hane first and then this attach. This is a technique I've seen before, but I can't really explain why it's used or why it's good. And Kudja did not do a good job of demonstrating for me because he actually lost some value here. And he messed up just like I do. So although this position looks pretty good for white, I mean, white gets some eye space there. Obviously, white has plenty of directions to run. Black also got some eye space, and black is really comfortable on the left side, and he also has the next move, which he can play from the top side to start building something on the top and even pressing this white group some more. So actually, black is already doing well in this position. I think the AI said that Kudja was supposed to play some variation like here and here, which is interesting. I mean, I don't know. This is just another entirely separate game. The judgment between these two variations is very difficult because they aren't very similar to each other in terms of like how they would continue to play out. So it makes a lot of sense that Kudja can make a small mistake here. I mean, the difference between the two is like a point or something like that. But Kim Young-hoon is comfortable, and I think it's pretty clear that black should be comfortable since white has an empty triangle and is generally pretty compressed here. Black is feeling just fine with his condition of territory and the left and the top and the bottom, and everything looks like it's going well for black. So Kudja is going to put some pressure on. He plays here, and Kim Young-hoon takes care of the bottom side and makes sure he connects his stones. This is obviously 42 is a forcing move because it's threatening to break the large knight on the bottom side, so this is mandatory to play some defensive move. And then when white plays here, it's not really that mandatory to defend, but Kim Young-hoon does choose to do it anyway. And this kind of thing used to confuse me a lot. Why people are playing these sorts of solid defenses when they could play something which is just wider. I mean, if black plays here, then black would definitely not get cut and killed. So why not, right? Why would you play the connect instead of the push? And the reason is quite simple. It's just that this connect is much stronger for the bottom side, which prevents counterattack, which means that black's attack is much stronger. So black is thinking that he's going to Hana here in the center in the future, and then he really doesn't want to leave behind the cut. So here, this move is white sente, and then that would make it so that this cut is now irrelevant for black. So the choice for black is either you're going to push up and build some area. Black really could get a little bit of area over here if he had pushed, but that area is not that relevant. Not as relevant as the amount of area that white can get over here if white is solid with his connection there. So that's why the connect here at 45 is indeed the best move to press. At least I believe it is. And Kudja plays this leaning move on the left side. This move is really annoying because there are some cuts for black on the left side, but he doesn't want to become too small, just answering them and allow white to control the center. So he chooses to attach here, which is a interesting move because it doesn't really take care of the cuts, and Kudja just goes for it. He just pushes and cuts. Bang, 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 bang. He's going to get him. Kim Young-hoon has to capture this stone. In general, when someone cuts on the second line like this, you don't really want to answer on the other side because then you don't get to capture a stone. You don't get to show that white made any stone like mispositioned. Instead, when he captures this stone, then now he gets a Panuki. He can be like, haha, wait, look, I captured your stone. But white also gets to say, haha, look, black, I captured your stones, like a lot of them. And I'm super strong with that group in the upper left. So what do you got? The game goes on, of course. White got some territory, black's got some territory. Black chooses to save his group, and white chooses to play here. Apparently, by the way, this saving of the group was a little tiny bit slow. It was possible for black to choose to take the territory himself, allow this attack. Obviously, black would still be alive very easily. But he chose to take care of the group instead. It's not really clear that it's going to be better to be on the right side or the left side, because really when black did this, he wasn't thinking like, I'm saving my group, I have to do this to live. He just thought it's a lot of territory to take advantage of that one stone, to be able to go into the bottom left later, and he was looking at this cut that has been, on his mind ever since he connected on the bottom side. So that judgment, although the AI told me that the bottom right is more important, I didn't know that myself, and I really don't know how you would know that humanly. It's kind of a difficult thing to understand. Anyway, when Kudja played himself in the bottom right, at that point there was basically nothing else to do, so that makes total sense. Kim Young-hoon decided to trigger this stuff on the bottom side. And I said he was looking at that cut, but actually he chose to do it by cutting this side first, which I found very interesting. Of course, we're still going to be using the fact that black is this strong. That's still very useful and relevant. And in fact, it's going to work out perfectly in the variation. You can see here. Now the fact that black has connected here instead of like pushing means that he just has an entire less cutting point. I mean, that cutting point would really matter if black hadn't fully solidly defended it. But in this variation, black looks really promising. It looks like black's stones are all in the right spot, except for the 3 that he sacrificed. And he has the next move, which he can use to go and attack this 1 stone. And it looks like black is establishing huge box on the bottom side, and potentially also on the right side if the stone dies. However, this was slightly good for white, according to the AI. Actually, when I was viewing the game, I thought black was doing well. I think maybe Kim Young-hoon did do. But white, this push is a super, super active move. It tries to make the absolute most of the black weaknesses. So if black would fall back like this, then white basically gets to connect and also reduce black a couple points on the bottom side for free. So black thought, oh, I should resist that. And instead, by cutting here, the difference is now black does not have to answer on the bottom side and save his stones. And instead, he can take Sente to go and chase after white and cause a problem. The judgment, I mean, the story totally makes sense. The judgment was apparently off, according to AI. But again, I keep on talking about what AI is saying, because me personally, I thought they were playing good moves all the time when I looked at this game. I didn't see anything wrong. I guess that's just how it goes. And I watched the super, super strong players play. Black played like this, and yeah, apparently black lost some of his advantage from the left side with these couple minute trading judgment problems where Kaja was getting just a little bit more territory, in each of the fights. Well, the game continues. Kim Young-hoon's very strong attack was counterattacked by Kaja. Kaja just pushes up. Hane is here, and Kaja could have to save this group. It's possible for black to play on the outside and really force white, hey, are you really going to run through here, save your group? And Kaja would have to do that. However, it's Kaja, so he'd be really happy to do that. He'd be really comfortable in that kind of position. And so instead, Kim Young-hoon plays the cut, allowing Kaja to save his group on the right side much, much more easily. And now we have quite a simple position where black is building, white is building. It's territory versus territory, and the game is quite even. Actually, apparently this is the correct variation. One interesting thing to note, by the way, many players are confused whether they should capture or connect whenever they get a target from the side like this. It's a really difficult decision because it's not consistent. Sometimes you should capture and sometimes you should connect. The way that you make that decision is you decide based off of how valuable the aji of that one dead stone is and how valuable the movement of the connection is. So in this case, white chose to capture here, which means that he values more the forcing moves that black could potentially get against that one stone if he had played away. So black has the potential to play forcing moves from this side, but he also has the potential to play forcing moves from this side. And I think it's particularly this side which Kaja was likely annoyed by, where sometimes black can just run out the stone now and directly start some kind of attack. White would need to potentially save over here and save over here at the same time. White can get in trouble against that kind of move, and if you just have to back off to it, that's also trouble. That gives black so many points here in the bottom right in Sente. So he decided to capture here, meaning that he can really take a lot more control of the right side. Now black does not have any forcing moves on the side, but the downside is that his movement to the center is much slower. You can see now he can only play a Hane there. After black plays their move, then white could play this one. Oh, black didn't play there, black played there. In comparison, when white does this one, then now black's next move is going to be pushing from behind if he does it, and white's next move is going to be a knight's move. So it's going to be quite a bit faster that white can run. So the two things that you're weighing against each other is the movement speed of connecting. That's why you would connect, or the potential mischief that can be made of that one captured stone in case you don't capture it. So in this case, Kaja decided the mischief is worth more than the movement, and that's why he chose to capture. And Kim Young-hoon played here. Yeah, I showed a different move originally. It would also have been possible for Kim Young-hoon to play like this, but then probably Kaja would play directly where Kim Young-hoon played in the game and just choose to try to sacrifice those 3 stones. And the bottom side, although it is quite large, it's only really fair. I mean, Black has invested into capturing the bottom side on each side, and so he deserves it in the end. And Kudja would be able to move on from this, give Black that much territory, and still win the game with his own big territories in bottom left, right side, upper left. So instead of making it that easy for Kudja to deal with his weak group, Kim Young-hoon tried to make an attack. He played this further outside move, basically daring Kudja, you've got to save those stones now, or else I'm not just going to take, a couple lines, I'm going to grow up even further to the center and swallow these stones on a really, really large scale. That's why Kudja had to do something, and he played here. This move shows he's still thinking of sacrificing those stones. And Kim Young-hoon is still thinking of attacking them on a large scale. He doesn't want to just cut through this, even though he could capture those 3 stones. This would be a big, big failure for Black to only get those 3 stones and allow White to get this many stones in a row towards the outside. White would definitely be gaining control of the game. So instead, Black goes for the attack. White runs, and Black saves his 3 stones. This is a very solid move, and it makes it so that White has to save himself, put some effort in, push in order to make sure he secures a route to his upper left group. And Black plays on the right side. White now chooses to peep and save towards the corner because White does not want to be compressed. Kudja is so good at this, he just insists on dodging and dodging and dodging away from any moment where he can end up being too small by territory somewhere. He always is pressing and pressing and pressing that he's as expanded as possible. I think many players would feel at least pushing here and playing a Hane, and you can just expand this area enough that is inaccessible to Black. Like, it feels like surely I can get enough here, but even this much is probably already overcompressed for White. Probably already, this is a little too much commitment to the right side area when you can just go and ask for another area right away. This peep was really well timed, since at this moment White would really not plan on using that cutting stone from the outside now that Black reinforced the outside. And playing this slide gives White so much more potential territory in the corner. Why does he need the right side? The right side is small. There was no reason to chase it. So Kim Young-hoon won't chase it either. He plays to attack this group on the bottom side. Definitely Kudja should answer that. Kim Young-hoon puts a little bit more pressure on. And finally, Kudja will play on the top of the board. Yeah, this was necessary, because otherwise Black had been subtly boop, 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 making a huge potential area here. He was thinking he was attacking the bottom side group. He was going to be putting pressure on the right side White potential territory and just grow until that would all be way too big. So Kudja threw a stone in, and he said, instead of letting you build this slowly, or just reducing it slowly, he's just going to come in and break it. Because that gives the type of game where now Kudja is going to be on defense. He's got to save his group. Kim Young-hoon has to basically kill it or get something else from the attack. Kim Young-hoon has to make something happen, because just the amount of territory that Black has on the board right now, if this white stone lives, is not going to be enough. That's why Kim Young-hoon plays here. Wow. This move, I thought, there's no way this move can be good. This move is really counterintuitive to me. It attacks this stone by saying the most valuable direction you can run is to the top side to try to connect up to these stones in the upper right. So I'm going to stop that really, really harshly. I mean, the point of this is that Kim Young-hoon does not want to play just a jump and get kicked and answer and let White get some base. I mean, here Black is way too small in the upper right. So instead he's playing this one saying, hey, you can't make me too small. I'm going to always have a chance to play to the top side. It works. It makes sense. It's just, for me, attacking from the second line is so rare. I really struggle to think of this kind of move. It can work. It can be good. I am starting to believe I can learn from Kim Young-hoon for this type of move. And in fact, it puts Kudja under quite a bit of pressure. Like, where should he run exactly? Kudja chooses to play the diagonal move, trying to start to build some eye shape, and mostly make some direction to run for himself towards the left side and towards the center. And Kim Young-hoon once again will restrict the movement in the direction that Kudja most wants to go, which is towards the left side. He plays this diagonal move, breaking some shape. And Koje runs towards the center. And Kim Myung-hoon peeps and jumps. So once again, restrict the movement where white most wants to go. Restrict, 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 restrict. Over and over and over. And yeah, I mean, white presses down a couple times here, and black has to run with his group on the right side. It seems like Koja's space is really small, but the group should be savable because black is not exactly that strong on the right side himself, and there's still quite a bit of empty space for white to run to. But me personally, I would feel very uncomfortable as white. I would feel like black is kind of in control of the game. Well, Koja plays this attachment. And for whatever reason, black chose to exchange this now. Now, the reason why white is attaching here is to ask whether he can cut that one stone or cut the 4 stones in the bottom. So, yeah, that exchange doesn't make that much sense to me. It's kind of a interesting probe question move. I don't really get it, to be honest. What I understand that's happening is that this block on the top side puts white under a lot of pressure. And white chooses to press on the black connection on the top. Black saves that. White's pressing again, pressing again. Black pushes up and plays here. And apparently this was the mistake. I mean, this kind of attacking is so hard because it really does look like white is supposed to die here when black plays like this. White was creating for himself a little tiny bit of eye space on the top side. I mean, this steals it all away. There's no chance for white to make any eyes anymore. But white can push through here, and black can cover that, but there's still a little tiny bit of weakness over there, so white forces black to spend another move, gets 1 extra stone in the center, and with just a little tiny bit of extra eye space in the center, he secures his 1 eye over here. He says to black, do you really want to try to kill me? Because you are kind of disconnected on the right side. I sped up a bit by accident. Black played this jump. He fixed himself. And white played here and said, do you really, really want to try to kill that? Black played this one and white pushed. And then white was alive. Black just plays away now and lets white live because there's no way for black to kill it. And I mean, this is so sad. Can there really be no way? It's true. They both did their reading correctly. There's no way. Even if black tries to cut this now, white has several ways to try to make this work. I guess white can try this one first. If black is going to answer, like over here, I mean, white can probably even answer that. Black eventually will want to answer this one, and then there's still this weakness that's happening all the time. I mean, white is just barely alive. For me, the reading is so hard. I don't really understand. I don't really understand the Sumego. It's so difficult, but I don't know. The AI agreed. White is just barely alive. It supports their reading, supports their judgment, and supports the fact that black eventually backed away, killed these 2 stones. That's really successful. Forced white to capture those stones. And so black is still in the game, but he's got to play an end game now, and white is most certainly leading because white broke this whole top side. So what went wrong here? Apparently, the mistake. Black played this move because he thought, like, come on, white is really going to live here. He doesn't even have 1 eye yet, and he's going to run through the center. And, I mean, even the way that it went, like, really, this lives? Are you kidding me? I still don't agree, even when I see it happen. But if you know that's supposed to be how it goes, then black could have played this cut first. Wow, this cut did not even occur to me. This cut asks whether white is going to capture, which gives black some forcing moves on this side. Those forcing moves could potentially be useful to save this group to get more benefit out of the attack. Or the more likely way is that white would save on this side, and then black can play this one. And although white can answer, if white answers solidly, then white would no longer have a forcing move against these 3 stones. So black can now play here or even play from the outside, and white is going to be in big trouble. So more likely white will have to answer sort of passively here or here, and black will just have a little tiny bit of territory gain from the fact that he asked about that cut. And that territory gain at this timing was exactly going to work and make the attack more powerful. Then he could go back and do the same kind of attack that he did in the game. Just doing this attack right away, apparently that was the mistake. And white saved his group beautifully. So beautifully I don't even understand, to be honest. And Kudja is winning. I mean, the game should be pretty clean from here for Kudja. Black still has a lot of points. He did do a type of attacking that gave him quite a few points on the top side, quite a few points on the left side. He still has quite a few points on the bottom side. He got the Sente. So the game is not over. It's still kind of close, but it can't match how good it is for white to have saved that group in the center, and even to continue to be able to save that group in the center quite easily and even counterattack the black group in the center. Yeah, black just should push, keep as much pressure as possible, but white plays that endgame in Sente, plays this Hane connect. White is really controlling the game. He even finds this wedge, a very interesting move where black tried to punish that to get more territory, but it gave that cut to white in Sente and then this push. It's not possible for black to block that. Black played elsewhere, because if black would block, then now as the game goes like this, you can see black cannot connect to those stones. White manages to save their own stones. So black played away first. White exchanged that Hane. White exchanged the first line descend. That obviously helps out his corner situation compared to that cut from before. And he played this push, and he played here, and he lost some time. Actually, this is a really difficult moment in the endgame. He just played this push, so it made it so that black can save those two stones. His plan, I presume, had always been to play this one, so to give black some short liberty problems over here, and at the same time keep those two stones dead, so he can get a little bit of points here. The problem is, he didn't get the move off, because I think at this moment he was considering whether he should do that or whether he should play just directly on the left side. I mean, these two moves are both very important areas. And if he plays like this, obviously black can block, but white will still be able to save his group on the bottom side, and he'll still be able to save his group in the center as well. The game would definitely just go on, and white would have some points. So it's a tough decision, which one of these to do. The game is not that imbalanced that it doesn't matter. I mean, white is leading by a few points, but not more than Komi. White lost on time. He lost on time in the Nongshim Cup. In the most important team tournament of the year, he lost on time. He'd gone early to try to prove he was useful in the Nongshim Cup because he has a reputation, Kudja, for not performing that well for the team when it matters. And here it is again. To be fair, he's already gotten 2 wins for China, so they can't be too upset with his performance. But what a shame to lose on time in a game where he played this well. I mean, this is just a vintage Kudja game. He throws a stone into his opponent's territory, dares them to attack it. They really believe they can attack it for a good reason, and just somehow magic Kudja is alive. He's winning the game. He's winning the game. This is just clean, normal Kudja. This is how he wins, and he loses on time. Many Chinese fans were quite upset. Alas. Alas. That's how it goes. Kim Young-hoon moves on to play Game 4 of the Nongshim Cup. We will see that game next time. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye-bye.